Okay, so who replaces Arsene Wenger at Arsenal? Now, there's three names that are topping the list of candidates. There's multiple candidates, but Mikel Arteta, ex-player, currently coaching at Man City as a assistant coach to Guardiola. Patrick Viera, another ex-player, also currently doing some coaching and work for Man City. And Luis Enrique of Barcelona. So there's a link to the Man City-Barcelona axis of football here. Now, Luis Enrique has been reasonably successful at Barcelona. Also reasonably successful. He's won a lot of trophies. Viera, very successful as a player, as a coach, as a youth coach. He's helping develop some of the younger players at Man City. Well respected. And Mikel Arteta has been an assistant to Guardiola since retiring a couple of years ago. He was picked up 3 years ago when he retired from football to coach with Guardiola. Obviously, they've just won 2 trophies. Now, it's interesting because Arteta and Viera have had no actual managerial experience in the first team when they're the guy in charge. They've been assistants or they've been coaching at the various youth grade levels. So for Arsenal to take that risk seems to go against Arsenal's philosophy over the last 20 odd years. When Wenger came in, okay, it was seen as a bit of a risk because the style of French football was different to the style of English football, and he was one of the first foreign managers to come over and manage. But he'd been very successful at AS Monaco, so it wasn't as much of a risk as people think. He had a track record. It was just the style of football in the leagues was completely different, and at English football at that time there wasn't a lot of non-British managers in the English game. Viera and Arteta are risks. Now Viera's been coaching for a while, long time as a youth coach, and he's been involved in the setup at Man City for quite some time since retiring. But Arteta's got less experience. So it'd be interesting. Arsenal have shown themselves to be very, very, very conservative in a lot of their transfer dealings and dealings with players and willingness to change. They kept with Wenger longer than they probably should have, even though they won 3 FA Cups in the last few years with him. And people were calling for Wenger's head for a long time. You don't win those trophies without Wenger. So it's careful what you wish for here. But for many years, over a decade, Arsenal did nothing in the league. They were just getting fourth, getting into Europe. That was it. No trophies. They lost the League Cup final. That was the closest they came to a trophy in that 10-year period. And they were very conservative in the transfer market. So for some reason, Arsenal have been very risk averse. When others have been taking that risk on that player or taking a risk on that manager, Arsenal weren't. But since Wenger's departure, a lot of the backroom staff have gone. There's only 2 backroom staff left. That's the goalkeeping coach, Jens Lehmann, and I believe one of the physios. The rest of the backroom staff that Wenger have built there over a period of time have been cleared out. So whoever comes in is going to have a brand new coaching staff to work with of their choice. They get to pick the coaches. They get to pick their assistants, their physio, their team doc. They get to pick their team. That's a big step. So we'll have to see what happens at Arsenal. Luis Enrique could probably bring his entire team from Barcelona, slot them in nice and easily. They all work well together. Viera and Arteta, they're going to have to try and cherry pick and see if they can draw people from other clubs or other people who are available into their coaching setup and their working relationships. But it'll be interesting. But Mikel Arteta is actually the favourite at the moment to take the job. He's been given permission by Manchester City to have discussions with Arsenal over the next couple of months. Obviously, the transfer window will be opening soon, and the World Cup will be taking place as well, and that'll be a very interesting dynamic. Will Arteta be going to the World Cup to scout either current Arsenal players, see how they're doing and how they're performing, taking notes, or prospective transfer targets? Will the transfer kitty be splash the cash? These are all interesting questions that need to be asked about what will happen at Arsenal going long term, going forward, and whether, if it's Arteta, if it's Viera, if it's Enrique, who they sign in, who they bring in, how much the club are willing to spend, because again, they've been very conservative in the transfer market for over a decade. They haven't been as big a spenders as other clubs. So it'll be very, very interesting to see the dynamic of how much money they spend out, who they bring in, and also what players get sold as well. How much of this current squad stays. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.